Caroline Mitchell had never known struggle. She grew up in Greenwich, Connecticut, in a house with 7 bedrooms where staff knew her breakfast preferences better than she did. Her father was a successful hedge fund manager. Her mother spent her time planning galas and managing their social calendar. Caroline went to private schools where tuition cost more than most people's annual salary, spent summers in the Hamptons, and took gap years in Europe her parents funded. She was beautiful in that effortless way that comes from good genes and expensive skincare. She had long blonde hair, a wardrobe full of designer clothes she wore once, and a social media presence that made her life look like a permanent vacation. When Caroline turned 25, her father helped her get a position at a marketing firm in New York City. The title was Senior Brand Strategist, which sounded impressive but mostly meant she attended meetings, contributed ideas that were often impractical or had already been suggested by junior employees who didn't have her last name, and left by 4 in the afternoon to meet friends for drinks or yoga classes that cost $45 per session. She made a 6-figure salary. She thought she deserved it. When her colleagues who had worked their way up from internships and entry-level positions quietly resented her, she didn't notice. When her boss gave her credit for projects other people had done most of the work on, she accepted it as recognition of her strategic thinking. When her parents bought her a 2-bedroom penthouse in Tribeca as a 27th birthday gift, she posted photos on social media with captions about gratitude and manifestation and working hard for your dreams. Caroline had a boyfriend named Brandon who came from a similar background, worked in his family's real estate development company, and spent most of his time playing golf and talking about investments he didn't actually understand. They had been together for 3 years in that comfortable way people are when they share the same social circle and neither person challenges the other to grow or think differently. They talked about getting engaged eventually, about a wedding at her parents' country club, about a life that would look exactly like the lives their parents had built. Everything was easy. Everything was comfortable. Everything was exactly as Caroline expected it to be. She thought this was what happiness looked like. She thought she had figured out life at 28 years old. Then on a Tuesday morning in March, Caroline's phone rang while she was getting a manicure. It was her mother, which wasn't unusual. What was unusual was the tone in her mother's voice. Tight. Strained. Barely controlled panic. Caroline, you need to come home right now. Your father's been arrested. Caroline laughed. She actually laughed, because the idea of her father being arrested was so absurd it had to be a joke.